Live. Good morning and welcome to the Kuha webinar. Today's subject is working with a head mouse, and my name is Petri Latvarasku and I'm responsible for Kuha sales and marketing activities, and today I am going to tell you about how to work with a head mouse, and as a demonstration I will be using the Kuha Sono 2, which I'm holding here. During the webinar, feel free to send your questions to us by either email at webinar@kuha.com, or you can also use the YouTube live chat to ask your questions. And after the presentation, my presentation will take something like 10 to 15 minutes, and after that I will go through all the questions that you have sent us. I'll try to answer all those questions. So a little bit about the Kuha Sono and Kuha Sono 2 mouse, and this is the Kuha Sono 2 mouse, and why this is so great for work-related activities. So when you are working with a computer, then why this is a really good mouse for this purpose. This is a really accurate mouse. So that is the basic enabler for using this for work-related applications and activities. So this is a pixel perfect device, which is as good as a very accurate desktop mouse. And many of the user interfaces for different let's say Windows applications, they are made to be used with a desktop mouse, and you really need to have an accurate mouse in order to be able to use those applications very well. This is a pixel perfect device, and you will see later in the demonstration how that accuracy is visible to the end user. And you can do anything that you can do with a very accurate desktop mouse with a Kuha Sono mouse. So this is a standard USB mouse, a plug-and-play device. You basically connect this part, which is the USB receiver. You plug this into your device, and then you turn this mouse on, and it immediately works. No drivers, you don't need to install anything, and it just works. So when you are working with a head mouse, so which platforms are working here? So basically all that support mice, which means that you can use any platform you like. The most typical, we know based on statistics, is Windows. Also very typical are Mac OS, Chrome OS. Then we have on the tablet side, we have the iPad OS, we have Android, and on the smartphone we have iOS, and then we have Android there as well. There are also some Linux systems. Chrome OS, for example, is based on Linux, so that is something that basically you can use this on everything. Our presentation here today is concentrating on Windows because that is the most common platform, and we are going to show some applications on the Windows platform. And one of the very typical things that you do when you are doing work with a computer is writing. So how do you write? So there is an on-screen keyboard on all the systems I know of. So there is a native on-screen keyboard which you can use to produce text. And well, we also have a virtual keyboard and mouse hardware and software called Kuha Video. We are not going to that product here, but feel free to check it as well. So that is a very useful thing when you are writing. And then of course, because Kuha Sono 2 is a standard USB wireless mouse, it works with all the applications that are available in Windows. So for producing text, you can also use speech to text applications. So there are many of those available, and there are actually, in most of the platforms, there are built-in systems for speech to text, but there are also dedicated pieces of software for this purpose. And one very important thing is clicking when you are doing work. So how do you click with Kuha Sono 2? Basically, you have multiple options. You can use a dedicated switch. For example, here I have the Kuha Sento connected, so this sensor is detecting your puff, so the airflow from your mouth, and that is going to make a left click. You can also connect several up to 4 different configurable switches to Kuha Sono 2, and you can configure them for example for right clicking and other activities as well. And then there is a built-in in the Kuha Sono 2 sales package, there is the Kuha Duel applications, which is an advanced dual clicking software that you can also use to make clicks like right clicks, left clicks, basically center clicks if you so wish, and you can also do other types of shortcuts for dual clicking, so you can configure them pretty nicely. So those are the basic methods that you are using. And at this stage, let's start the video. We have collected some examples on how to use Kuha Sono 2 with Windows applications. Let's start the video. So here you can see the Windows desktop here, and we have Samu here demonstrating how the applications are starting. So you can see that when Samu is moving his head, he's wearing the Kuha Sono 2 and Sento puff switch. So when Samu is moving his head, the cursor moves on screen, and now what Samu did was he clicked the start menu, and then he started the Windows native on-screen keyboard. And Windows native keyboard is actually pretty good. It has text prediction, and it has support for excuse me, different native keyboards. So if you are, for example, in Germany or France, then you would have the local keyboard available there. And here we also have the Word application, which is very typical. This is something that when you want to type something, basically you go on the virtual keyboard, you basically set the focus first to the word, and then you just type in letter by letter here, and when you are puffing on top of a letter, it immediately brings this letter to the text area. And you can also, here you can see the accuracy pretty well. So there are small buttons or icons on the Word application, and you can easily click them and, for example, make the text bold or make the font size larger, and then you can go to the menu, and if you, for example, want to print the document, you can just choose it basically in exactly the same manner that you would do this with a desktop mouse. So you can do all this directly with the Kuha Sono 2. And in this case, we have not installed any software. So what you are seeing here is standard Windows software. So we haven't installed any Kuha Sono or Kuha Sono 2 specific applications here. So it is just plug and play, and then we are showing here Windows applications. And here Samu is writing an email. So a very typical way to write an email is, I think this is Gmail here, and Gmail, you write the text and then you basically click the send button, whatever you are doing, and you can also move the Windows on screen keyboard. You can resize it easily as well. Then we are demonstrating here Teams, especially now that we have this COVID-19. At least we have been using Teams application quite a bit, and I have heard that basically everyone else is doing the same. So using Teams application for video conferencing and other things as well. Very simple. You basically just start it, and here I believe Samu is sending an image to, it looks that he's sending it to me. So the image is there, and then I think we are going to see some accompanying text here, typing on the virtual on-screen keyboard. And we can also now see that the image appeared there in the Teams chat. And pay attention to the cursor, because you can see that how accurate the cursor movement is. You can really hit any single pixel on the screen there. So it's very, very simple to use. So that was the Teams chat sent. Then additionally, we go to the start menu and start the web browser, which is nowadays very common. People search for information on the internet. In this case, we are going to a web page here. Let's see where we are going. So again, we started the on-screen keyboard here. And then, well, the browser remembered that when you typed Q, then it automatically showed that kuha.com, because this was a web page that has been visited before. So now we started the kuha.com web page, and this is basically how you browse, is exactly as you would browse with a desktop mouse. So you have the cursor there, and you have the web page open, and you can grab the slider, scroll bar, you can click any of the buttons and links on the screen, and then you can, in this case, for example, we have the Jari Mönkkönen video here, which is one of our users who cannot move his legs or hands, and he has been using Kuhasono for many years. Everything works here very smoothly. Now Samu also opened our reseller and distributor information here, so they are located on Kuha web pages. And here we have other demonstration of typing here. I think we have Skype here, and the virtual keyboard here in this case is a bit larger. So you can see that it covers, well, maybe not completely half of the screen, but quite a bit. It makes typing pretty quick here in this case, because the buttons are very big and easy to hit. So it's useful. Just a reminder, Kuha Video is a wonderful hardware and software that you can also use to dock your virtual keyboard onto a separate display, so that will leave you more space on your main display. Okay, I think that was the video, and you saw some real-life examples on how to use Kuhasono 2 with work-related applications. And at this stage, let's go through the questions. I'm sure that our viewers have sent us a couple of questions. Do we have any?
Yes, so the first question, how many Kuha mice are used at workplaces?
So the question was, how many Kuha mice are used at workplaces? I think the question means that how many people are using Kuha mice when they are doing work. I have to say that I don't know the exact answer, because we don't know the identities of all our users, and I know very well that we have many people who are using these for work-related activities. For example, the video that was visible, Jari Mönkkönen he has a company and he's running it. He's using Kuhasono for his communication. We have people who are doing video editing using Kuhasono. We have people who are doing publishing work, so very accurate stuff that you do. And we also have people who are writing it, using it when they are writing text. So we have many people, but I don't know the exact number. But this is really something that many people are using this for work-related applications.
Okay, next question. What software can you use with Sono?
So the question was, what software can you use with Kuhasono? I think it was very clear from the presentation that you can use any software. We have been using the Windows platform here for demonstration. all those applications that we showed were standard Windows applications like Word and Teams, and there was no specific mouse related software. So you can use any software which has a user interface designed to be used with a mouse, and on desktop computers that basically means that all applications that are available are such. And they are also working with other operating systems like Mac and Chrome OS and Linux as well.
Okay, then how do I right click, and what about center button click?
Okay, the question was how do I right click and what about center mouse button click? So right click it is possible to connect a separate switch to the Kuha Sono 2, and you can connect any switch with a 3.5mm connector there, and you can configure that switch so that it makes a right click. If you want to make a center click, there is the Kuha 12 software which does have the option of also giving out the center click. So if you need a center click, I know that it is not very common, but with some applications it is useful to have a center click, even though it is quite rare. But you can configure the Kuha Duel so that it will produce a center click as well.
Okay, then does Zono work with multiple displays, and does the centering work?
Okay, question was, does Zono work with multiple displays including centering? The answer is yes. So when you have more than one display configured, of course it depends on the resolution of the different displays and the setup. You can have 1, 2, 3. I think that if you have a good display unit on your device, you can connect quite many displays in some cases there, and you can configure them as you like. And because the mouse is a standard USB mouse, it doesn't actually affect there. When you want to center the mouse with Kuha Sono 2 centering function, it depends on the monitor configuration exactly where the center point of the displays is. So it goes into the center point of all those different displays, and it really depends on the display configuration where it goes, but it is somewhere in the center area. But you would, as I said, it depends on your display configuration, but centering does work with multiple displays.
Okay, I guess that was all.
Okay, so that was all the questions we had, and you can also send your questions to at any time. So even later, if some questions pop up into your mind, feel free to send them to myself, or you can use still the webinar at kuha.com. We'll get back to you. And thank you for attending. Our next webinar is using mobile devices in daily life with a head mouse, and see you there. Bye-bye.